निर्मानमोहाजितसङ्गदोष अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसंज्ञे गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययम् तम्।
Hare Krishna, I welcome you all for today's session of Gita Sandesh. So we'll do Kirtan for a few minutes and then get started. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatari Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radharaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radharaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radharaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radharaman Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All of you, one last time with all your heart. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। We'll do Mangala Charana with folded hands, seeking the blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas in the Guru Parampara and Srila Prabhupada. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanandhanashalakaya Chakshururmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunadhanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once again, I welcome you all for today's session of Gita Sandesh. We are in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 entitled the Purushottama Yoga, and Srila Prabhupada in his Bhagavad Gita book, Bhagavad Gita as it is, he has given the name the Yoga of the Supreme Person, Purushottama, Supreme. So the Yoga of the Supreme Person. So it is a translation of the Sanskrit chapter name. Okay, so let us quickly see what we have been discussing in the previous chapter. In the previous chapter, Krishna was saying that the three modes of material nature is what are making you to come to this material world and making you stay in this material world, and you are just getting tied up, and you are acting, you are thinking that you are acting on your own, but no, you are acting because of the influence of the modes of nature. Now, the question may come to you saying that, and in fact, Krishna was saying that one has to overcome this modes of nature and come to the Shuddha Sattva. That means you need to overcome all the three modes. Why? Because these modes inherently, if you are in that mode, there are some disadvantages which will not help you to take to the spiritual process or go beyond these modes and come out of this material world. These modes, if you are getting entangled with these modes, then it will not help you. So you have to overcome these modes. Now, some of the questions may come such as, how do I overcome these modes? What is the way? So that is one thing that Krishna is going to discuss as part of the yoga of the Supreme Person, Purushottama Yoga. He will discuss how you can come out of this modes of material nature. Obviously, that is how logically it should be flowing.
The second question is that, are these modes really bad? Can we be in this material world without being in these modes? And what are these modes? How are they influencing you? Is what one or two questions that we need to address, and then move forward to understand how we can overcome these modes. And so that's what it is, right? So can somebody tell me on the chat or by unmuting, are these modes really bad? Is Krishna saying that these modes, whatever are there, mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and sattva guna, all these are bad per se? Anybody? Not bad. Okay. Then why is that Krishna is saying that you need to overcome them? They have to be balanced. Very nice. Okay, that's really good. Okay, very nice. So how do we balance them? That's another thing. Now let's take a practical example. Now you wanted to sleep, because taking rest, giving rest to this body is required. So if you wanted to take rest, you need to go into the ignorance mode. See, ignorance mode means what? You are not doing any activity, and to some extent you are going in the ignorance mode, or taking the shelter of the mode of the tamasic guna. So when you take this the tamasic guna only, then only you will go into the sleep. If not, you cannot go. But again, the point is that you cannot be in that mode forever, or it should not dominate you. You should be able to control that mode. Just remember this. You means who? Not the senses, not the other things. You per se means who you are should really control. Actually your intellect can control and your mind can control, and that's what it is. See, there are yogis who will just sleep for 1 hour. And why is that? They are able to take 1 hour and we are not able to get that sound sleep in 1 hour. We need to sleep for 6 hours or 7 hours. Why is that? Because they have controlled the sleep by their mind and intellect. Now if you see, Arjuna was called Gudakesha. Gudakesha means a person who has controlled the urge for sleeping also. So that is what is the kind of state you can also go, and yogis have done it. So when they do, they have conquered the sleep in one way. So Srila Prabhupada hardly used to sleep for a couple of hours only, and the rest of the time he used to do his book translation and things like that. Now, as most of you have really mentioned it, why are these modes bad? Per se, they are not bad. You need to control them and come out of it. Come out of it in the sense, take shelter of the higher. Just giving up will not help you. Now Krishna is saying that go, if you are in the Rajasic mode, go to Sattvic mode and take the shelter of the Sattvic mode, because out of these two modes, which are Tamasic guna and Rajasic guna, the Sattvic guna is better than these two. But he is not saying that these are best. The Sattvic guna is best, because what are the limitations, or what are the if you are in the Sattvic guna only, then what would be some of the pitfalls being in that guna, or being dominated by that guna? What are the pitfalls? Anybody can say? What are the pitfalls? What will happen to you if you are dominated by Sattva guna and you are in Sattva guna only? Anything? Can't remember? Okay, goodness, okay, proudness, okay, will be distracted. What else? See, basically what happens is that there are two factors which will be again tying up you being to get attached to this material world. See, if suppose there is a person who is in the mode of goodness, and he is self-satisfied. Self-satisfied, and because he is in the mode of goodness, that means he is having that happiness, being in that mode, that can also tie you up, because it is that happiness is what he is experiencing for himself. But again, he is not getting connected to Krishna. So that happiness, what he is getting, is only because of he being there. Of Sattva Guna, so happiness being in the Sattva Guna. So that happiness can tie you up. The second thing will also tie you up is that he will be little proud about himself. That see, this mode of people who are in the Rajasic Guna and Tamasic Guna are down to me. I am the superior. So that superiority complex will also be there. That as nicely mentioned by one of you, that this little bit of proudness will come. So that is also determinantal to progress in the spiritual path. So both the happiness that you are getting out of being in the Sattva Guna can tie you up, and also the little bit of proudness that you cultivated because of the knowledge that you gained. You came to the Sattva Guna. Because of the knowledge, you came to the Sattva Guna. But again, that knowledge can also be binding for you. So Krishna is saying that overcome that. Come to the Shuddha Sattva. So that Shuddha Sattva is what you need to take shelter. And Shuddha Sattva taking shelter is nothing but you are doing anything that you are doing is for the satisfaction of the Lord. So that is where Krishna is going to take you and give you the knowledge very systematically. Hope that makes the things clear. Now, just to summarize one more time, per se, the modes are not bad. If you are in this particular human form of the body, then you are supposed to control these modes, and it is not easy. But again, when you are in the Sattva Guna, it is the better platform for you, and so you should ideally get dominated by being in the Sattva Guna rather than Rajasic Guna dominating you or Tamasic Guna dominating you. Better you get dominated by the mode of goodness, because that's a launching pad for you to go to next. And to do certain activities, you need to have a balance in life. And as you just now discussed, whatever we are doing in our life from morning till evening, it is a mixture of Rajasic, Tamasic, and Sattvic. And if you see that way, everything is made up of these three only. Whether it is taste that you talk, the food that you are eating is divided into three categories. So the day that you are seeing, the day is divided into three segments: Rajasic, Tamasic, and Sattvic. So that is where Krishna is saying that control these modes, and not that the modes are controlling you. How do you do that? So that's what he is going to tell you, how you can overcome these modes and you can control the modes rather than modes controlling you. Okay, hope I made that point clear. Anybody has any questions so far? You can unmute and ask, or you can just put it on the chat. Goodness will bring him back to earth. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, thank you, Rajneesh Prabhu. Okay. So no more questions, then we'll discuss the yoga of the Supreme Person is acronymed as HOME, H-O-M-E, home. H stands for home or hotel. That's a very good discussion that we are going to have. On and on, over and over again, we are doing what? That's what we are going to see. Maintainer of the body, mind, and soul. Who is that? Who is the maintainer of the body, mind, and soul? So that understanding, if you have, then you will start taking the shelter of Krishna. You will be now going towards that Suddha Sattva, and taking shelter of Krishna can start. So that is where you need to understand who is maintaining this body, mind, and soul. Am I maintaining it? So that question is what is getting addressed. Essence in 3 verses. Again, here he is going to give you the essence in 3 verses. Very important. So, excuse me. Now, let's take an analogy. Suppose you checked into a holiday hotel room, and as soon as checked in, you you began painting that holiday room or hotel room which you have taken. You started painting, and you are ordering and buying new furniture, and refitting certain bathroom things that are there, like wash basins and things like that, and hanging some pictures of your family in the hotel room. Now, so what would you say about this kind of a person who is acting like this? Can somebody unmute and say, or we can put it on chat? So please feel free to unmute. I presume it is already there where you can unmute. Let me just check. Okay, so they can unmute now, Prabhuji. Did you give the option?
Yeah.
Is it because I need to check?
Yeah, okay, 1 minute, Prabhuji.
So this need to be ensured every time, Prabhu.
Yeah, it is unmute. Yeah, they can unmute it, Prabhu.
Thank you. So anybody would like to share what you would say about this kind of a person who is acting or doing certain things when he checked into a hotel? What did you say? Yeah, he's a passionate person. Is that what just now it come? Okay. What else? No thoughts at all? You don't have. Please participate. I want some reactions, because unless until we understand certain things, we cannot move further. Okay. No idea, Prabhuji. Okay. Rajasic guna. Okay, he's dominated by Rajasic guna. First of all, understand that. Put yourself in that position. I don't know whether you do it, but a person who is sane, who is having the presence of proper knowledge, will not do it. We'll say that this is ludicrous. He is an insane person. What is it? He has come to a hotel and he is going to stay only for temporarily for a certain amount of time. Maybe 1 week, 2 weeks maximum. Then he has to leave. Why is he doing painting? Why is he getting new furniture? Why is he changing all the bathroom fittings? This is madness. So Krishna is saying that this material world is also temporary, Baba. Maybe you are going to stay for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but still it is temporary. Nothing will come with you. So the analogy what it is given is that this is not your home. This is a hotel. Understand? Because this is temporary. It will not be ever with you. So your eternal home is what you need to make arrangements for. That is the crux of our coming out of this particular modes of nature also. Because we are attached to the modes of nature. You wanted to dominate. You wanted to enjoy. And for that you are making all the arrangements. Whatever arrangements you are making is just because you feel that I am going to be permanently here. See? Yeah, you can. Naresh Prabhu, you want to say something?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now the point is that if you see, once Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked a question by Yakshas, Kim Acharya Jagat. So in this world, what is that which is very astonishing? So what is that which is very astonishing? Not just astonishing. What is very astonishing? Then Yudhishthira Maharaj replied to that Yakshas saying that everybody is dying. Sooner or later, you see that my grandfather has died. Some of my relatives have died. And some of parents have died. But still I feel that, or everybody feels that I will not die. I will be ever here. So that is the kind of a mindset that people have made, and they are attached to these material modes. You got the point? So why is very important? Why are we attached to these material modes? Or why I should have the attachment towards my home, towards my other relatives, or whosoever. I'm not saying that one should give up. Please understand, Krishna never ever told to give up things. Understand this. When Arjuna wanted to give up the fighting, in the notion that this is adharmic and I cannot kill my own relatives, and what will I do with all this? Now Krishna is giving that knowledge to make him understand that what is that his duty is. What is his dharma, real dharma. So understand this, your Sanatana dharma and Swadharma should always go parallel. But to be, to do your Sanatana dharma, proper understanding, that knowledge you need to have. Krishna is giving that knowledge as part of this Jnana Yoga, and convincingly he is trying to put it in a very logical way, saying that, Arey Baba, this world which you are in, you are thinking that it is permanent and you are the owner. But no, who is the owner? He is going to tell you who is the owner, because if you are the owner, it should be there for you forever. But no, this particular home, this family, this money, everything will just go away one day. So that means you are not the owner. So understand this and act. Don't give up acting. Understand this and act. And how you need to act, that is what is given in Bhagavad Gita. How do you position yourself? Taking the shelter of Krishna is difficult. To surrender to Krishna is difficult. So Krishna suggested that take the shelter of my knowledge, what I am giving, and become a Buddhi Yogi. A person who is in Buddhi Yoga is basically using his intellect, and then intellect meaning with knowledge he is acting. So that is what he is trying to put it here. Okay, so this chapter 15, Krishna uses a wonderful analogy to create a detachment within the spiritualist. He is trying to create a detachment. Detachment doesn't mean that you are giving up. That means you are attaching to something. See, you are detaching means you should attach to something. What is that you need to attach is what is making the difference between one person to another person. Just getting detached is not what Krishna told. Please understand, I am repeating so many times because this is where a lot of people face problem and misunderstand Bhagavad Gita. So they say that once you come to ISKCON and start reading or understanding Bhagavad Gita, he's giving up his family, he's giving up going for work and all this. No. So you will understand properly and get attached properly and do your work. So that is what is recommended, and that's what Krishna is communicating, so that he can fuel that desire. Okay, understand this. He is fueling that desire to re-enter in his real home, which is the spiritual realm. So we need, because we are conditioned. We are conditioned so much that no, this is what my home is. Why? What are you talking about, you and me? There was a time when Brahma, for whatever reason, he was cursed and he had to take birth as a pig. And being as a pig, he started his family, and his family was developed, where he has kids, his wives, and so many. And now, when one of the, I think Narad Muni or somebody comes and shakes Indra, I think, yeah, it should be Indra, I think. So please forgive me. So now he shakes and asks Indra, what are you doing? You are the demigod, who is the head of the all the demigods. Now he says that what? Why I am so happy with my family, my kids, my wives, and I'm so happy. I don't want to come up and take care of other responsibilities. So a bewilderment can happen to anybody. A person like Indra can be bewildered. The demigod can be bewildered. So what about you and me? So understand this. Whatever knowledge Krishna is giving, ultimate aim is that to inspire you, to fuel that desire to re-enter into your real home. This home which you are having is not real. It is only temporary. It is like a hotel. Your real home is the spiritual dham, Goloka. Okay. So here in this particular section of the home or hotel, in the first 5 verses, Krishna basically introduces a new thing called a banyan tree. A banyan tree, he's trying to now compare what is this material world and what is the spiritual world. Because slowly you have to get a picture about your real home. Unless until you know what is your real home, you will not get inspired to go there. So Krishna is giving you what is this material world, what is the spiritual world. And he says that this particular material world is a perverted reflection, or it's a perverted reflection or reflection of the banyan tree which is there in the spiritual world, and it is inverted. So that's what we'll discuss about that. That's the first analogy he gives to compare the spiritual world and the material world with a banyan tree, which is a reflection of the banyan tree in the water. While they may look similar from a distance, a reflection of the tree can look the same from a distance, but you know that in reality the reflection has no much substance, or true satisfaction is not there when you are attached to that particular reflection. So get attached to the real one. That is what Krishna is saying. So on the other hand, the reflection of the tree of the material world is complicated, and it is intricate and completely tipsy-turvy. And since the roots, whatever you see that, are upwards and the branches are downwards. How does the reflection look like? We'll see that. So it is like roots are facing upwards and branches are facing downwards. So that also Krishna tells you, and he selects a very nice example. See, when he wanted you to be in this material world, he gave one nice example. Can somebody remember? Be in this material world, but don't get attached to this material world. What is the example he has given that time? Can somebody tell me? You remember? Okay, lotus leaf. Okay, Srinidhi Prabhu, Gangadhar Prabhu. Now, Tata is for another reason, but here the one is lotus, what is given. So Krishna takes such a nice example. Now he is emphasizing on this tree, and he describes and compares this tree very nicely to give you the analogy. Okay, so now suppose on the reflection of this tree, a lot of birds may come, and they wanted to search for juicy fruits. Do they really get any satisfaction, or are they able to quench that desire that they have? No, because it's a reflection. So similarly, whatever you do, whatever you have in this material world, please note this: whatever you have, whatever you do in this material world will not give you complete happiness. It is only temporary happiness it will give you, because it is a reflection of the actual tree which is there. Krishna urges all of us to cut down this illusory tree. with a weapon of detachment and end the futile endeavors for permanent fulfillment. Okay, so I'll repeat that. So basically what Krishna is urging all of us, he's requesting all of us, is that cut down this illusory tree with a weapon of what? With a weapon of detachment. So you need to get this detachment and end the futile endeavors, whatever you are doing, lot of endeavors we are doing. So for permanent fulfillment in this temporary world. So that is what Krishna is giving you the knowledge. And now the question may come, how do I develop that detachment? So that is where Krishna is going to tell you how you can get this detachment cultivated. Okay, so becoming attached to this material world, so the reflection of the spiritual world will not really help you in any way. So at least understand theoretically that this, not theoretically, logically also, you know that this material world is temporary and nothing is going to be permanently there, and you have experienced yourself that you tried so many ways to get complete fulfillment and happiness, but you did not get. So for that reason, it is important that we need to get detached oneself from this material world, live like a lotus flower, be in this material world, but don't get attached. So that analogy is now coming here, how you to get you there. Okay, any doubts so far? Anybody has? Please put it across on the chat. Don't hesitate to ask. Okay. So this is the first sloka, very important sloka. Let us recite. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhamulam Madashakham Ashwadham Praruravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastvam Veda Saveda Ved. Can one of you can read this sloka for me, please? I know we are short of time, but still, one I would request you. Anybody can raise your hands, those who can do. Okay, can somebody read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree and that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas.
Oh, wow. This is a very loaded, this is the very loaded sloka. Now he is saying that it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards, okay, and its branches down, and whose leaves are Vedic hymns. It is a bit complex to understand this, because he is giving an example and he is saying that it is imperishable banyan tree. Now, first of all, he is saying that this is the material world and he is comparing, and now he is saying that imperishable banyan tree, and he is saying that that has its roots upwards. Roots are upwards and the branches are downwards and the leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Okay. So that is what is that you need to know when you read Vedas is what he is trying to put you here. What is that? What is the ultimate goal of Vedas is what he is trying to tell you. What is the ultimate goal of Vedas is to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I need to take shelter of Krishna. I need to surrender to Krishna. So that is the essence of the Vedas, and that is the root. Then that's what he's saying. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So once you know this, then you can say that yes, I know I am a Vedic man. I've got knowledge of Vedas. People say that I am Chaturvedi, I am Trivedi. That means I am knower of the 2 Vedas or 3 Vedas. But if you know, finally you need to come to this conclusion that Krishna is Sarva Karana Karanam, and I need to take shelter of Krishna. So I need to get detached, be in this material world, but still detached such that and get attached to Krishna, not just detached. Get attached also is important. So how to do that? That is what Krishna is going to tell you. So this is the banyan tree. So some of you might have seen or not seen, but this banyan tree, you see that the roots are coming down, unlike the other way around. So they are in one way they are coming up for us from our perspective, reflection perspective. You see, it is tipsy torsby, or it is unlike the other trees. Other trees are like roots are going down, but this is the opposite. So that way you see that that's how a banyan tree is. It is surprising how Krishna has created this universe. So much diversity. This is probably the one plant which is doing this, and there are few other plants also, but tree-wise, banyan tree is the one. And yeah, so the material world is upside down banyan tree. So what does that mean? See, so now if you see here, this is the spiritual world where the tree is normally, as you see that it is how it should be. But now the material world is the perverted reflection of this particular one. Now, what does this perverted mean? Let's understand. Anybody can tell what is this perverted means? What do you mean by perverted? Oh, because sometimes we use this word very colloquially. Hey, that fellow is a perverted fellow. That means what? That means to say that he is diverted from his goal, and now he got perverted. Originally he was okay, but now he got perverted. That is the reason why we say that he is a perverted person. That means earlier his character was good. Now his character got basically he moved into a wrong way and he is doing wrong things, perverted. So that is what we use. Not per se abnormal, but basically he was originally good, but now because of whatever influence, he took up to the wrong ways to do things. Then we call it as he's a perverted person. Similarly, you see that whatever we see in this material world, all have to be existed in the spiritual world. So you understand this. If this tree is there, this perverted, this tree reflection is there, that means it has to have the original tree somewhere. Then only you will get the shadow. Then only you will get the reflection. So what are the things that you find in this material world? All should exist in the spiritual world. Say, suppose we are having love. Unfortunately, the word love is being used in a wrong sense in the Western world a lot. They say that let's have love. So the love has been used in a very perverted way. You take, for instance, anything for that matter. So whatever I wanted to say, I wanted to put efforts to work hard. Work, whatever you are doing here is again perverted. How? Because there also, in spiritual realm also, you will not stop doing certain things. You will still be active. You will be doing working. You are also working in this material world. What is the difference between working in the spiritual world versus working in the material world? Because everything that you are doing here will be there. Whatever you are talking about, it will be there. Okay, so then somebody was asking, is envy going to be there in the spiritual world? Yeah, can somebody answer me? See, you are saying that everything what you will find here will be there. Then is envy also going to be there? Yeah, anybody? Yes, no? Will it be there or not there? No, it will not be there. Okay, then how did it come into existence? Yeah, Sandhya Mataji, you want to say something? Okay, I'm muting you now. Okay, thank you. So, see, somebody may ask, is darkness there? How do I get rid of this darkness? See, darkness is absence of light is called darkness. Envy is basically absence of certain thing. Absence of proper understanding is what give rise to envy. So if you have that, this will not be there. So like that. So each and everything is there in the spiritual world. You talk in terms of envy, yes, it is there, but in one way, but it is not there also. How? Envy is there, but, I can also do better seva to Krishna, because I see that others are doing seva, I should also do seva to Krishna. Again, this envy also can be doubted to Krishna. Envy in the sense, not in a negative way, but in a positive way it is there. Okay, so anything that you take is there in the spiritual world, because unless until that is there, it cannot come here. Second, why entire material world is compared to a banyan tree? For one engaged in fruitive acts, there is no end to the banyan tree, which is very, very deep rooted. You don't even know which is the root and where did it start. If you have seen that previously, I have shown you a banyan tree. That banyan tree is basically, you don't know where it started. So it is so deep rooted. And if you want to cut down a banyan tree, how difficult it is, you just imagine how much you need to cut. And still, if you cut also, it's so deep rooted that it will still come up. So one wanders from branch to branch with no end. You are wandering from one branch to another branch, one life form to another life form, and you are just going round in this material world. So that is where Krishna was comparing this with the banyan tree. What is the purpose of Vedic hymns? To elevate oneself gradually from material conditioning to spiritual life. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. They say Purusharthas, right? So these four are what is can be achieved in this when you follow this Vedic Shastric injunctions. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But again, these three things are also called in the Bhagavatam, the first sloka itself. Why Bhagavatam is called the ripened fruit of spiritual literature? Because whatever you thought so far, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is your goal. They say, Bhagavatam says that this is Kaitava Dharma. So this is impure. So you need to take shelter of the pure. That is what. But again, since I have desires, I am in this material world, I have dharma, I have to dharmically do certain things. Artha, I have to make some money. Kama, I have some desires to fulfill. Moksha, I wanted liberation. But these four things is in the Bhagavatam, in the first sloka itself, it is saying this is Kaitava Dharma. So you need to get rid of this. That means these four things can also make you get attached to be in this material world. So Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the spiritual literature, and so it will take you out of this material entanglement and you can be able to take shelter of Krishna. So that is possible when you have the right understanding, and that's what Krishna is giving you as part of the Bhagavad Gita, which is also the essence of all the Vedas. So that is what he is trying to give you. If you have any doubts, please do not hesitate to ask, because this understanding will really help you to really put things in practical ways. Okay. Why understand this tree of illusion? One who understands this indestructible tree of illusion can get out of this world of detachment. It can get you out of it by the sword of detachment. So how you need, Krishna is saying, you need to cut down this tree so that you can go there. How do you cut that? With the sword of detachment. And later on he'll say that detachment and determination. One of the things that you need to cultivate is determination. So because the Maya is so strong, it will keep on adding more roots so that you can get attached here. So more roots, as banyan tree, as it is growing old, you are getting more roots, getting the new roots coming. And that's the reason why the banyan tree is living for almost like ever, like thousands of years it is going to stay. Banyan trees have that lifespan. Why? Because it is so strongly new roots are coming. And that's the reason why you need to cut with the sword of detachment and determination. The last one, what is the purpose of extrication. So devotional service is the best way as explained by all the chapters. So when you take to the devotional service process or the Krishna consciousness process, you can develop that detachment. What is that Krishna consciousness process means what? Can somebody tell me? How you can take shelter of what are the things that you can do as part of your Krishna consciousness activities such that you can develop this detachment. Yes, excellent. It is ABCD. Don't forget, small things make perfection. Perfection is not a small thing. Small things. The philosophy is very simple, but just understand this and you will come out of this material entanglement for sure, because this knowledge is not coming from any Tom, Dick and Harry. It is coming from Krishna, and that is perfect in all ways. So when you follow this ABCD, associate with the pure devotees. Read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam daily, do your chanting daily, eat Krishna Prasad daily. All is daily. Why? Because that determination is required to do ABCD. How many of you have done chanting earlier? How many of you have taken up to reading Bhagavad Gita earlier? Yes, you did, but you couldn't stay back. You couldn't continue because you lacked that determination. And why you lacked that determination? First and foremost reason is that you didn't have association. Keep the association alive. Don't leave this association. If association is there, rest of the things will follow. You will get interest to read Bhagavad Gita. You will get interest to read, do chanting. You will get interest to read eat Krishna Prasad only, not any other food that is there outside. So it all starts with association. Okay. So this chapter also refutes the impersonalism, which says that the spiritual world consists of undifferentiated Brahman only. So that means to say the variegatedness is there in the spiritual world also. Spiritual world also, when you go, you will not lose your individual identity. You will continue to be an individual, and you will be operating the way you are operating. But again, for whom you are operating, for what you are doing, that end goal is very crystal clear and you are endeavoring it. That is the only difference. Body, you will not have this material body, you will have spiritual body. So obviously, Janma Murtyu Jara Vyadhi will not touch you. Neither the three kleshas which are there, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika kleshas will not affect you. So Maya is not there. So obviously, you will go to a different level and you will be operating there. Yeah, Nishita Mataji, if you have any questions, you can unmute. Okay, upside down tree indicates that it is the reflection of on the bank of the river. Yes, and this indicates the presence of the real tree, which is the spiritual world. Okay, now, yeah, so so reflection is the replica of the original, which implies the material world is the replica of the spiritual world. I'm just reinforcing things and we'll go fast now. This shows that the spiritual world is full of variety and not just undifferentiated Brahman. Undifferentiated Brahman means everybody. I know somebody was asking, when I go there in the spiritual world, will I be a human being or an animal or a plant? There is undifferentiated. So basically meaning, so you will have variety there also. You will be a tree if because there is no difference there. You ultimately, in whatever form you are there, you are serving the Supreme Lord. I can become a tree where I am swinging when Krishna comes, so that I am serving him by giving that air. I can become a flower where I can give the fragrance such that Krishna can experience that fragrance. So I can be anything for the satisfaction of Krishna. The gopis have this mindset, and that is the mindset when you will also cultivate at later point of time. And when our consciousness is purified, we'll go to that particular dham and live that way. Okay. So Brahman is the center of the manifestation. This is the material world, is a manifestation of the center by 180 degrees, and other 180 degrees is constitute of the spiritual world. So this is the description about the spiritual world and the other thing. So this is the tree that we are talking about. Okay. And So these are all the Vedas, and the root of that Veda, if you understand, that is where you will be called as a person who has the proper understanding of the Vedas. Then you can call yourself as Trivedi, Chaturvedi, or whatever Vedi. Then you are qualified. So that is what it is. Any questions so far? So that's what we discussed. It means that one knows how to cut off the attachment to the material world. So knowing the Vedas means that you know how to cut off the attachment to the material world. Now you read all the Vedas, but finally you don't know. You are going and smoking outside. You are going and doing all having illegal relationship with others, and you are just doing all nonsensical activities. That means you didn't even know what's the essence of Vedas. Vedas means that will help you to cut off the attachment to this material world. So one who is attached to the ritualistic Vedic formulas is just attached to the beautiful green leaves of the banyan tree and does not know the purpose of Vedas. So there are a lot of people who are Veda Brahmanas, and they come and eloquently, nicely tell these Vedas and recite these Vedas. What good it is? Unless and until you know that the purpose of Vedic study is that to get detached from this material world. So how do you cut out that detachment? Also you need to know. You not just knowing, you should also implement it. That's where it is very important for us to realize that. Okay, so in this particular sloka also, in the 15.2, the branches of the tree extend downwards and upward, nourishing the three modes of material nature. Why you should cut is what is telling that when you cut with the detachment, the three modes of material nature, which are really what bothering you, which is what is keeping you in this material world, you can get released. That's what it is saying. The twigs are the objects of the senses. The trees also has the roots going down, and these are the bond for fruitive actions of the human society. What is that? The fruitive mentality is what is making you, keeping you here. And when you cut out with determination and with detachment, you can overcome. Okay, so the material world is a tree nourished by three modes, and you see that this analogy, which is nicely given, this is a very beautiful. So you see that this is the spiritual world where Goloka, where Krishna is there with all the cows, etc. And what you see that the trees, the flowers, all that you are getting attached to, what are those? Sense objects, pious activities, Vedic hymns, liberation, economic development, religiosity, sense gratification, impious activities. All these things are what you are getting attached to, or these are the flowers and fruits to which you are attached, and it is making you to be in this material world. While liberation also is told to be as one of the kind of fruits, or why is that? Why liberation? How can it also be an attachment? Why you need to also cut down that act of liberation? In what sense? Anybody? Yeah, it's nearing. Yes, very nice. So liberation is also again is a kind of an attachment, because it is attaching to you. Who is that who wanted to get liberated? For what purpose I wanted to get liberated? I wanted to get liberated because I wanted to attain that happiness and come out of this material entanglement, because it is so much of pain here, so much of agony here. So when you have this mentality that I wanted to, because I wanted to enjoy, that mentality has not yet gone. Because when you, that act of liberation, if it is for the satisfaction of Krishna, that is true liberation, and that is the true desire. Our desire, if it is centered towards ourselves, it is also a bondage. So Krishna will give you liberation because you have asked for it, you desired for it. He will not say no. But again, you will come out of this material entanglement, but you will be in a state where in the port of entry, for the spiritual dham, port of entry, you will be there because you are not yet purified your desire. So since your requirement, you wanted to serve Krishna for his satisfaction, till that time you will be there. And once you realize that, yeah, in the port of entry, how many days I can stay here? Either I have to go to the material world or I need to go to the spiritual world. So let me purify myself. So you will come back to this material world. Again, come back to this material world, get purified, and then go back to spiritual dham. Or Krishna, what he will do is that because you come to a certain platform where you have already developed a detachment from this material world, but you did not get attached to Krishna, he will give you a life and a planet and the association where you can develop that to next level, and then you will come back to Goloka. So that also you will do. So if you are only asking for liberation for yourself, nothing wrong. At least that is better than any of these other things, right? So, but again, ultimately understand that you need to get attached to Krishna and do it for his satisfaction. So that is what we have seen here. Okay, I will. There are so much we can discuss about each and everything. Krishna in his each and every sloka, he has explained about this banyan tree in going into the details about each and everything. Okay, so we will not go there. And here also in this particular sloka 3 and 4, asanga shastrena, by the weapon of detachment, you can cut down these roots which are coming down and making you stay in this material world. That is what is emphasized here. So rest of the things you can study here. So that detachment is what he's talking about. Find, so how do you, detachment is the only way out of, to come out of this tree, whichever is binding you. So how is that you can do? It's what is told here. 15.4 talks about find one in knowledge. One, what you need to do? First, find, so take shelter of the knowledge and hear properly about the relationship between the Lord and the living entity. So Bhagavad Gita gives you 5 things. Can somebody remember what are those 5 things Bhagavad Gita talks about? First, he talks about who am I? Who is the Supreme Lord? What is my relationship between me and the Supreme Lord? What is this material world, Prakriti, where I am in? What is Kala? Okay, and it also talks about the karma also. So 5 basic things it talks about. And when you have the knowledge, proper knowledge about all these 5 things, then you can get liberated from this entanglement that you are having with this material world. So find one in knowledge. So hear properly about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and the living entity. What is my relationship? Second, 15.5, surrender to the Lord. Through the spiritual master, you can get surrender to the Supreme Lord. It's a via media. Krishna himself says that you need to take shelter of the spiritual master to come to me. It is bona fide because spiritual master is a realized source who has the realized knowledge. So he will impart that realized knowledge and make you surrender to Krishna. On our own endeavor, we cannot do. Ours, we know that there are 2 marks. We follow the mark where we will go with the route not based on our endeavor but on the mercy. And we need to take shelter of the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. 3, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. When you take the shelter, then you can surrender to the Lord. Okay. No false prestige that he is the Lord of the material nature. So you do not have this false prestige. And when you surrender to the Lord with this mindset and with this knowledge, then you will be able to surrender. And you are not surrendering not with illusion. That means to say that Brahma is not there. So I think so with not with illusion, giving up false association, free from dualities. So once you, then once you get to this platform, then you will be able to surrender to Krishna. Till that time, what you need to do? Take the shelter of the knowledge, because you see that this is not easy. So for that, once you develop that knowledge and be in the association of, how can you develop the knowledge? Being in Krishna consciousness. How can you be in Krishna consciousness? By following, not to forget ABCD. Association plays a very important role. Attain the final eternal abode. So two-step process. Krishna is saying, no, take the shelter of the knowledge. And when you take the shelter of the knowledge, slowly you will get to start surrendering to Krishna, and finally you will attain to the spiritual abode. And so this is what, and for that, the basis is that you need to develop detachment. Develop that detachment. Very, very, very important. Don't give up your activities. Develop detachment. Be like a lotus flower. Very important. Why I am reiterating for a reason, but we get into a wrong notion and destroy our family fabric also. Be in this material world, but again get detached like a lotus flower. Please understand that. Okay. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya virivitta kama dvandair vimukta sukha dukkha samjair gachanti amudha padam avyayatat. Those who are free from the false prestige, that's what is mentioned here, right, in the surrender part. Those who are free from the false prestige, illusion and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust. You remember, where did the lust come in the which chapter? Krishna said that lust is the root cause and it is your enemy. In which chapter? Anybody remembers? No? Chapter 3, fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you keep the abbreviations in mind also, you'll get. So this is how you need to study. When you read Bhagavad Gita, there are two ways you can study, or there are so many ways. One is that you can relate one chapter to another chapter, keep on asking this question, where did Krishna speak this, in which chapter? And so now you are able to get that proper analysis you are doing. The second thing is that when you read any particular sloka, just ask yourself, is Krishna talking about Abhideya, Sambandha or Prayojana? So that way also you can understand and keep your study live. And you can, when you understand whether he is talking about Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana, you can apply it in your life. So keep that in mind. Okay. So these are some of the things he's saying that you will be able to, you need to do such that you can come or you can surrender to Krishna. So that's what. And finally you come to his eternal kingdom. Okay. So there is the qualification is all that whatever we just spoke is what you find here. Free from the false prestige or pride. So how, because there is tinge of pride in the Sattva Guna also, that pride also you should overcome. Free from illusion. So pride is due to illusion in one way also. Because what is that illusion that I had? What is the biggest illusion that I have? Can somebody tell me? Biggest illusion. Which is making you stay in this material world, not to surrender to Krishna. What is that biggest illusion? Yes. We'll take few more minutes, about 10 more minutes and we'll come. Very nice. We are in the illusion that I am this body. I am this body, spirit soul has come and it is just staying here. So the other way around you should think now. I am spiritual soul, I have taken this body and I have to overcome whatever these modes are there. I have to transcend these modes and go to Suddha Sattva. So that mindset when you have, that is what is not an illusion. You will come out of this illusion when you develop that particular knowledge. Okay, freedom from false association. This is possible when one is free from the false proprietorship. The false proprietorship is that again the same thing. I am this body and all these are my relatives and I have, so that kind of an association will also make you do certain things which is not good for your spiritual growth also. So cut out that kind of attachment. Okay. So I was asking somebody, see, you are so financially strong. You don't have to work. Neither your 10, 20 generation need not work. So much wealth is there. Why are you still working like a donkey, like an ass? And he said, what will I do if I don't work? I'll get mad. That is true. Because for those kind of people, Krishna is saying that do karma yoga. At least do karma yoga. What he is saying that keep working like a donkey. Doesn't matter. Give some fruits to Krishna. Understand? If you are not really getting operated at that level, Krishna is giving you an option. Do karma yoga, Baba. Karma yoga means some fruits, whatever you are getting attached, no. So that fruits, whatever you are getting, give it to Krishna. You give it so that the Krishna consciousness can be propagated. So that way you are, what are you cultivating in one way? Because you are getting attached to your fruits. Now when you give fruits to others, whatever you have earned, that one is in turn going to give you some detachment, and that will what is taking you to the next level. But don't stop working fanatically. Keep continuing to do your work, because that is also is what Krishna is saying. Okay, we can talk about this so much. Understand the eternal. What is your ultimate goal? That you should keep in mind. Free from dualities. Dualities meaning become a sthita prajna. Free from dualities, freedom from dualities, become a sthita prajna. That happiness and distress, these are like a season. What is that sloka? Where he said, Sitoshna Sukha Dukkadha, Agama Paino Nityas, Sitoshna Sukha Dukkadha. So basically, this is like a season. Happiness, distress, this will be integral part of your life, being in this material world. Don't say that I am doing Hare Krishna, I am being reading Bhagavad Gita, why difficulties are coming? Yes, these difficulties will be integral part of being in this material world. So later on, once you come out, then you will be going to Vaikuntha where there is no distress. But here it is going to be there. Done with the material lust and unbewildered. So when you surrender to Krishna, when you maintain that particular, when you are able to develop these things, and this is what he's saying: moha, jitasanga dosha, all these things. Okay, so I'll go next. But again, to come to this platform, not easy. Take the shelter of the knowledge of Krishna, and when you surrender to the knowledge of Krishna, then slowly you will develop these qualities. Understand this. So the next verse is basically the supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor for fire or electricity. Those who reach it never returns to this material world. Na tad bhashayate suryo, na shashanko, na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhamam paramam mama. Now somebody was asking that is Krishna going to tell about the spiritual world, or is just going to tell about this material world only? He started telling about the spiritual world. He's saying that that spiritual abode of mine is not illuminated by sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach those who reach it never returns to this material world. Krishna is saying, once you come back, you will not go back to this material world anymore. That's what he's assuring you. Okay. So that is the abode of spiritual world. Okay. And the next one, the living entities where we originally belong to, that is what is told here. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. That means we are part and parcel of Krishna. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses. What are the six senses? We know 5 senses are there. Which is the sixth sense? Which is the sixth sense? Which includes the mind, which is what is told here. Okay, I just mind. Yeah. So mind is the sixth sense. So we are all struggling, and here Krishna is saying, Mamai vamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana mana sastran mana. Okay, sorry. The mana sastranindriyani prakriti sthahi karshati. So basically what he is saying is that these whatever six senses are there, this is what is making you tie up here. So you need to purify them, and that is where the purification will happen automatically when you follow the ABCD. Which part of ABCD is basically going to purify your senses? Can somebody tell me? Which part of the ABCD which will purify your senses? Just take a wild guess. It is just ABCD, multiple choice.
D.
Haha, yeah. So all the other ABCD will also help you, but definitely taking Krishna Prasad will purify your senses. So I'm not saying that the other ABCD reading, having knowledge will not purify. Chanting will not. The best way that it will affect to purify your senses is by taking Krishna Prasad. So that will purify your senses. Okay, so there's so many things we can discuss, but let's. Anyways, we have advanced Gita that is there as part of the Gita Sadhaka. So we'll discuss in greater detail, but please forgive me that though I have prepared it, I have not prepared these any of these PowerPoint presentation for 1 hour and 18 days. They are for because that is my limitation. I will overcome it going forward. Plus, okay. So the living entity in this material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. So basically, what he is saying is that you are taking your soul is entering from one body to another body, as the fragrance of the flower is coming from one place to another place. So that is how he is giving a comparison of the fragrance of the flower, and through air it is getting carried. So the living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. So based on your desire, see, there is one Sharira which also comes along with you in the certain way, in addition to your mind, intelligence, and ego. Because gross body, you leave it here, but all that sense enjoyment, whatever you wanted to do, that particular thing will be carried to your next life also. What is that? Can somebody remember? And we named it as one Sarira also. Sukshma Sarira is there. We made up of mind, intelligence, and ego. What is that another Sarira which is also there, which will come along with you in your next life? What is that?
Vasana. Vasana.
Yeah, Vasanas. Yes, what you said is correct. Vasanas is called Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira is the desires that you have are also getting carried forward. That's what is Krishna is saying here. And you will obtain, because you have those desires and you need to fulfill those desires. And for that, Krishna is giving you, because how will you fulfill those desires? Through sense objects only, and through sense interaction only. And you need to have that kind of a senses be given to you. And that is the reason why he'll give you the certain type of ear, certain type of eye, certain type of tongue, nose, sense of touch, could be genitals also, such that you can enjoy along with that kind of a mindset, because mind also should be there when you're doing this. It cannot be separated. You know that, right? See, I was listening to one lecture, and suppose you are a husband and you are very hungry, and very beautifully, very nicely, your wife has prepared so many food items, and you just put it on the table, and she put it on the table, and your appetite is also there, and you were ready to eat. As soon as you are ready to eat, your wife said one thing. What did she say? She said that, in Telugu I am saying it, Pandi, tino, oh pig, eat. Now, will you be able to eat it? Will you be able to enjoy the food? No, because your mind is now disturbed. So that is the reason why Krishna also gives you the kind of a mind by which your desires can also be fulfilled. That means that mind should also carry that, and it should be facilitated to enjoy. So Krishna also ensures that this is taken care. Okay. And why I am telling you this? Because mind plays an important role in the sense enjoyment also. So that is, you know, that we all know it. So this is what he gives you, whatever is the animal form you wanted, based on the different kind of sense enjoyment desires that you have, he will give you. And this is not something we are talking about where on Krishna is telling, so this is a fact. So you don't have to ask yourself, how can you say that? Can you prove it? So you need to take this based on the Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means coming from Krishna directly, and it has not been proven wrong so far. Okay, so we will, and again, this is the reason why transmigration is happening. And understand this, transmigration is happening because, not just because of any other thing, but also because of your mind, because of your desire. Desire is the root cause. So now our desires are self-centered desire, including the liberation. So that self-centered desire should be now dovetailed. Whatever desire, see, you cannot become desireless. Why you cannot become desireless? Can somebody tell me? Why you cannot become desireless? Anybody? See, somebody was saying, see, if you are saying desire is the root cause of everything, I'll become desireless. So that, now, is it possible for you to become desireless? Yeah, go ahead, Priti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Desire is basically the innate duty of the soul. So,
yes, Mataji. So basically, becoming inactive, not having desire, is not constitutionally, that is not what you are. What you are constitutionally is, I am really the spirit soul. Constitutionally, the spirit soul is active all the time. It cannot become inactive. If it is active, it will have desires. It has to do something. So to do something, you need to have desire. And to desire something, you need to have the right kind of a mind. And that mind is what Krishna is saying, purify that mind. And Manah Trayate iti mantra. So the mantra chanting, whichever you are doing, that will purify your mind. The purifying the senses is taken care by when you eat Krishna Prasad. For purifying the mind, it can be done when you do the chanting. And purifying the intellect can happen by doing what? Anybody? Intellect is also there. Mind, intelligence and ego. Intellect, how can it be purified? Anybody?
With proper knowledge.
Proper knowledge, fantastic. How you will get the proper knowledge? When you read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Very nice, fantastic. Thank you, Sandhya Mataji. So this is what you need to cultivate. And one last thing which is there. What is that last thing? Ego. How can I get rid of ego? Anybody? Because that, get rid of false ego. How can I get rid of false ego? Yes, anybody?
Prabhuji, by seva.
So basically, when false ego can be removed by association. A is for association. The culprit is this ego. The false association. So that ego which is there, when you have the association of what? Association of the pure Vaishnavas. And when you, in one way, you are taking the association personally, you can associate with the devotees and you can get that association. And what happens is that you can also take the association of Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is basically giving you association with all the pure devotees who have reached their spiritual dham. So that association you can take through book form also, and personal Bhagavat and book Bhagavat, you can take association. And this false ego which is tying you up, saying that ego is one way, false ego is basically also telling you that I am this material body, I am this. Baba, you are not material body, you are spirit soul. That consciousness is what will take you there. Okay, so yes, we will come to the final section. The maintainer of the maintainer of body, mind, and soul. Okay. Here I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Krishna, in one way, is giving a hint to the next chapters that he is going to give you. He is now going to tell you in more details about what are the things that Krishna is in greater detail, and what are the kind of qualities you need to develop, how you can develop those qualities. That is what is going to come in the next chapter. So he is trying to tell you so many things. And in this case, he is saying that I enter into each and every planet. We know that we have seen that when Mahavishnu glances over the Mahatattva, so it comes into action. And he impregnates into this Mahatattva or this material world, and then they start operating. The planets get revolved, and the moon starts giving what it is supposed to give. All this is because, and once that is created, all the setup is done, then the living entities are getting impregnated. Once this is setup is done, it is like before once you wanted to occupy a home, it should all be ready. Like painting should be done, door should be fitted, electricity should be there, all that is preparing, then putting you inside. So that is what is trying to say, that I am the root cause. Okay, Krishna is the maintainer of this material world. So he is basically the Sarva Karana Karanam. And for the vegetables to grow, the fruits to give you flowers and give you the juices, all this is basically because of Krishna. So couple of more slokas and we'll be done. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of the living entities. Now a lot of people think that I am digesting the food. To digest the food also, Krishna is saying that I am that fire, Jatar Agni. So basically in our, that is the difference between, please forgive me for some of the Ayurvedic, allopathic practitioners, this level of details, what is there in Vedas and in our Shastras about Ayurveda, how it operates, that much knowledge they are not gone in, because it is modern science. Modern science is based on experimentation. Experimentation like how this particular allopathy came into existence, we all know. It was Hahnemann who invented this homeopathy later on. He was he invented this allopathy. He found out by experimentation that if suppose somebody has got a stomach ache or a headache, you take certain chemical composition of tablets, and when you give that, ailment is getting vanished. But what happened is that Hahnemann found out that though they are getting rid of that ailment temporarily, after a certain time they are coming back to him and saying that I have another problem. I got rid of that, but some other problem has come, or same problem has repeated again. So what should I do? Then he thought, what should I do means give the tablet again. And if you have a stomachache, take one more time. And continuously keep doing that if you get this problem. And that is how these people are maintaining, not curing the problem. Understand this. Please forgive me for the other professions, but this is a fact that allopathy, emergency cases I am not talking, but for the regular ailments, whatever you talk in terms of the diabetics, talk in terms of hypertension, talk in terms of thyroid, this has become a common buzzword in our homes. Whenever I go to my parents' place, this many tablets they are taking. I've asked why this many tablets. They are saying that one for hypertension and one for thyroid, one for this, one for that, one for this. And end of the day, what? They are just controlling. That's just controlling, not curing. Please understand this. Why they are not doing it? Because they do not know how to cure things. How they did not go to the grassroots level and took out that root cause, and then it will remove the disease and cure it. That they don't know. And this is what Samuel Hahnemann told this entire allopathic community. He told that, yes, I invented it. Yes, I understand. But now that is giving side effects. Because of this, there are people coming for kidney problems. And what I am doing, I am giving tablets to suppress those kidney problems, kidney issues. Take this tablet so you can eat food. So then they told that, oh yes, what you say is correct, but what is the alternative? How can you say that we should stop allopathic practice? Then they said that you go and find out alternative, then come back to us, then we will think about it. Then he went and he did a lot of research, and they say that he has taken a lot of inputs from the Vedas and found out that because everything should come from Vedas only, including allopathy. Allopathy also is a branch of the Ayurveda only. It's a minor branch, which is a sub branch, but it's not the main. But that also, and Homeo also said to be that what is invented at later point of time, unlike cures, the like cures like is the other one. Based on the principle he has come up, the entire homeopathy has come. And when we propose to the their government agencies that yes, I came with an alternative and it will cure the problem without any side effects from the root, then they said, what are you talking? Now it is almost 4 to 5 years and the allopathic industry, allopathic practice has dominated. So we cannot say to stop it. You continue as an alternative practice and this will go as a primary practice. It is so shameful that Ayurveda is still considered to be alternative practice. And we people have taken it because we do not trust our Vedas. We do not trust our own Shastras. So that is out of agony, I am saying that we need to follow the Vedas. We need to follow our traditions. We need to follow such that it is, we are not blaming anybody. We are not saying others are wrong. Allopathy has got its own role to play, but similarly give equal privilege, equal, what is that? Equally treat these other practices such as Ayurveda also. There are a lot of people in the Corona time when they came up saying that we can cure Corona by giving this medicine, they were put in jails by Ayurvedic practitioners. Some of them are put in jails. So this mafia is going on. People have looted. I'm telling you, people have looted in this Corona time like anything, especially the allopathic practitioners have looted. You go to any corporate people and they are buying big apartments and flats now. Those doctors and allopathic practitioners. And those are owners. Not everybody has done it, but there are people who have done it. We know for sure. This has gone like a mafia, and out of some inner feeling, I am trying to say this, but we are getting diverted. And so point is that what Krishna is saying is that I am the source of everything. I am the digestive power also. And that I am that Jataragni. And we think that we are everything, but no. So we are not the maintainers of this body and soul. Krishna is the maintainer. and he is the one who is doing everything for us. And that way also, if you know why Krishna is saying this, that way if you know also, with that knowledge you can surrender to Krishna. And if Krishna thinks he can do anything, Mare Krishna Rakhe Kon, Rakhe Krishna Mare Kon. If Krishna wanted to protect you, who will be able to harm you? If Krishna wants to destroy you, destroy anyone, who is there to protect him? So that is the kind of mindset once you get, you will start surrendering to Krishna. Here he talks about digestive power. He talks about everything, but whatever you have, he is the maintainer. That's the bottom line. He is the digestive power here. Okay. I am seated in everybody's heart, and from me come remembrance. Whatever remembrance you have, that is not coming based on your own capacity. With the mercy of the Supreme Lord, if he is willing, then only you will remember. You remember, you think. So many times you thought, I will remember this, and you forgot. So if it was in your capacity, see, in one way, remembrance is also Krishna. Not remembering is also Krishna's mercy. How? How is not remembering is a mercy of Krishna? Can anybody say? Last thing, and we are going to end in next 2 to 3 minutes more. Few more slokas. How is that not remembering also Krishna is there? If remembrance is Krishna, not remembering is also Krishna only. How is that? Anybody? I know you are all more than 1 hour, you get exhausted. Mind is very loaded with so many things. Yeah. See, what happens is that if you remember everything that has happened in this life only, you will become mad. So all the wrong things that has happened with you, if you remember, you will become mad. So, and forget, if you know that you are a spirit soul and you are transmigrating from one body to another body, if Krishna gives you remembrance of your past lives also, you will become mad. So remembrance and not remembering also, in one way, in remembrance, what to remember, what not to remember, Krishna is deciding. So don't think that it's all because of me. And he's also saying that I'm the compiler of the Vedanta and I'm the knower of the Vedas. Sarvasva chaham hriti sannivishto mata smritir jnanam apohanancha vedaisa sarvo hameva vedyo vedanta vedavid eva chaham. I am the knower of the Vedas. That is where the tree, whatever he was talking about, banyan tree, he was explaining. So that is what it is. Okay, so the essence of the 3 verses. Previously, Krishna summarized Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses. You remember that? In which chapter was that? Anybody? And what was that? We have given that title for this 4 verses. We called it as Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita, right? So now he is again summarizing the teachings in 3 verses. So fallible living entity Kshara has dropped into the tree of material existence due to an independent desire to enjoy. That is the first and foremost thing you need to understand. We are Kshara, living entities. We dropped into this material realm due to what? Due to the mindset that I wanted to independently enjoy. So that desire was there. Why only Krishna is getting all these? Why not I also enjoy like that? So that independent desire which has prompted us to come into this material world. Understand this. This is a summary of Bhagavad Gita in one way Krishna is giving you. And again, in what aspect is giving? That was given in the in which segment again? That Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita in which segment? Out of 3 segments, which segment? In the Bhakti segment. This is more into the Jnana segment. Okay. So understand that this is more to do with knowledge. These are different from the infallible living entities, Akshara, who never leave the spiritual realm due to their undeviated desire to be with the Lord. He's talking about Kshara and Akshara. The living entities are the same, but now their subtle body which is there, What are they desiring for? Their desires are different, so they came to this material world. And there are some entities, majority of the entities are staying in the spiritual realm, because they have undeviated desire to be with the Lord. So be with the Lord to what? Do what? To serve the Lord. Beyond both entities is the spiritual Supreme Lord. So that is what Supreme Lord is, the source, maintainer and control of all, including ourselves. That is what we need to understand. Thus, in yet another passage, Krishna reinforces that the living entities never become God, since even liberated souls have their separate identity in the spiritual world. Okay, so that is how we can end today this particular session of ours. Okay, and any questions anybody has? So what we discussed today in a nutshell, we have discussed that this material world is not a permanent place for us. We need to look for our permanent place. Our permanent home is a spiritual dham, spiritual realm where Krishna is staying, and we also should be in association with him. So that is the H stands for home or hotel. Understand that this is material world which is temporary. Second, on and over again, what we are doing is that we are getting entangled in this material world, and we need to cut with determination and detachment this attachment that we have with this material world, or these modes of nature which are tying us to be in this particular material world. That rope should be cut, because mode guna also means rope, so that rope should be cut. Maintainer of the body, mind and soul is none other than Krishna. Not just this, Krishna started saying that this particular universe is also one entity, and this entity also is getting operated because of me only. He gave the examples of planets, moons, etc. And this body also, it all has been told that I am the digestive fire to digest and keep this body also alive in one way. So that also he said, I am that. And the essence of the three verses is what we have seen, Kshara and Akshara and the Supreme Lord. These three verses he talked and gave the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So with that we end today, and if anybody has any other questions, we can take for one or two, anything. Raghunath Puri Prabhu, is that okay?
Yeah, Prabhu. As of now, there is no question in chat.
Okay.
Anybody wants to ask, they can raise their hand and unmute.
Yeah, I know it is beyond the time that we are having these discussions, but to get a complete picture, sometimes we are spending. Okay, if no questions, then we can end for today. But I request you with folded hands that please read Bhagavad Gita, follow ABCD. We have a beautiful opportunity of chanting every day. Come up at 5 o'clock, wake up in the Brahma Muhurta and do few rounds of chanting. And after that, you can come to this, attend this 6 o'clock sessions, and we'll continue it for a week or so. And after that, we will have our other classes as we have scheduled. Okay, anybody has any question? No?
Yeah, Prabhu, one question. Yashika Mataji is asking. Mataji, can you please ask, because you have written, you please explain about Shiva. What is Mataji, can you unmute and ask the question, please?
Prabhuji, can you please explain Shiva Stuta?
Please explain Shiva Sutra.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I am not aware of about Shiva Sutra. I know Shiva Tattva, Shambhu Tattva, I am aware of, but Shiva Sutra, I don't know. I'll check and let you know how it can be of relevance to this discussion. Also, if it is relevant, I can discuss that in next class. Okay, Nishita Mataji?
Okay, Prabhuji.
You are Nishita or Yashika? Yashika.
Hello, Yashika, Prabhuji.
You are Yashika and your sister is Nishtala. Nishtala is your surname, huh?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Oh, Nishtala Yashika. What does that mean? Nishtala means what? Huh?
That is my surname, Prabhuji.
Okay.
And Yashika, I will give fame who are surrounding me.
Oh, very nice. Very good. Very few people have the understanding about their name. So very good. How old are you? What are you studying?
Prabhuji, I am in final year of MBA.
Oh, you're in final year MBA. Okay, very nice. So good that you joined. Hare Krishna. So, can you do kirtan, short kirtan? Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Yashika
Yes.
Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mataji, please.
Hare
Would you like to follow me after I sing? You can sing.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you, Mataji, for really so nicely chanting, taking the holy name and doing the kirtan. So please continue to give your association, all of you. So we'll see you all tomorrow, same time, 6 a.m. But 5 o'clock you can come for the chanting session. Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.